Colonel John Okoye, the military governor of Delta State, recently held a significant meeting with all the kings of Isoko land. The meeting was convened to inform them of his intention to unify the various kingdoms under a single paramount ruler, known as the Ovi or Logbo. Seated at the head of a U-shaped conference table, with the kings arranged on surrounding sofas, Colonel Okoye announced this vision with optimism. The kings enthusiastically applauded his idea and pledged their cooperation. They were to choose one among themselves to become the head king, and the selection process would be guided by Okoye. Shortly after this meeting, Colonel Okoye received a troubling anonymous phone call, alerting him that certain individuals were secretly planning to impose a candidate of their choice for the head kingship, bypassing the process he had put in place. The news left him deeply betrayed and furious. He called King Edoja of Uzere urgently, needing his presence immediately. In Uzere, Prince Oke arrived at the royal court, just as Edoja finished the call with Okoye. Oke was warmly welcomed by King Edoja and took his place beside the throne. The royal court was structured, with 20 sofas lining the walls for chiefs and dignitaries, and rows of white plastic chairs in the center for the general public. Jonah, Edoja's attendant, was summoned and served them wine. Oke, eager to know the latest developments, asked Edoja about the governor's intentions regarding the head kingship. Edoja confidently asserted that he was the one chosen by the governor for the position. However, Oke expressed concern, having heard rumors that someone from Isoko North was being favored. Edoja, who was from Isoko South, was clearly troubled by the possibility, but maintained hope. He acknowledged that his main rival could be King Ovoke of Olomoro, who had strong ties to the governor through marriage. Oke encouraged Edoja not to be discouraged and reaffirmed his support. He reminded Edoja that his loyalty stemmed from the assurance that he would succeed Edoja as king of Uzere if the latter rose to the head kingship. Edoja appreciated the support and noted that with allies like Oke, his victory was more likely. Their bond was strengthened by history. Oke's father, King Ujiri, had ruled Uzere before Edoja. Uzere's monarchy alternated between two dynasties, Imu and Uloho. After Ujiri of the Uloho dynasty passed away, Edoja of the Imu dynasty took the throne, and he had nurtured Oke as his eventual successor. Edoja, aged 47, was tall, fair and handsome, with a wave of black hair and a finely structured face. He had also served for 2 years as the chairman of the Isoko Council of Traditional Rulers. He was respected for resolving disputes across Isoko land and had maintained regular contact with the governor, who often promised to elevate him to a first-class king. Around 10 o'clock, Oke left to supervise his ongoing projects. He was a professional engineer, overseeing 5 electricity installations in Isoko communities. Though based in Warri, he had returned to Uzer with his wife to ensure proper execution of the contracts. Later that day, Edoja traveled to the government house in Asaba with his driver and assistant. Wearing a regal black shirt adorned with fur-like designs and a dark blue wrapper, along with a crown and walking stick, he arrived promptly at 3 p.m. Though late, he was warmly received by the desk clerk and ushered into Colonel Okoye's office. The governor himself came out to greet him, calling him mentor, a title reflecting their long-standing friendship dating back to their school days at Federal Government College, Warri. Inside the office, Okoye's mood was visibly different from previous meetings, more serious and reserved. After brief pleasantries, he offered Edoja champagne, which they drank as they settled in for discussion. Okoye voiced his displeasure over the news of secret plans to sabotage the kingship selection. Edoja admitted he had only heard rumors earlier that day and promised to investigate thoroughly and report back. Okoye, clearly agitated, instructed Edoja to uncover the truth and deliver names if possible. He made it clear that he would personally punish any individuals found to be plotting. He reminded Edoja to be vigilant, emphasizing that a leader must remain alert. Moving on, Okoye explained the formal structure for choosing the head king. Edoja was to convene the Council of Traditional Rulers and ensure the election of 10 kingmakers, one of whom would act as spokesman. All interested kings would apply for the head kingship, and through a voting process, their number would be reduced to 5. Okoye stated that he had the constitutional authority to appoint any king, but wanted the process to appear democratic so that the eventual head king would have public legitimacy. If Edoja did not make it into the final 5, Okoye promised to include him regardless. Additionally, Okoye informed Edoja of a planned visit to Kaduna in 2 weeks. Edoja was to accompany him to meet with the Emir of Kaduna, Alhaji Musa Idris, chairman of the National Council of Traditional Rulers. This meeting aimed to secure national recognition for Edoja as a first-class king. As their conversation wound down, Okoye shifted focus to a pressing crisis in Warri, involving violent conflict between the Ija and Itsekiri ethnic groups. 20 people had been killed, and widespread destruction had occurred. Okoye sought Edoja's counsel. Edoja recommended increasing troop deployments, particularly in Okumagba, and enforcing curfews more strictly. He also suggested initiating a dialogue between the warring factions and encouraging intertribal marriages to promote unity. Okoye was deeply impressed with Edoja's insight and reaffirmed his admiration. A week later, on the 22nd of the month, the Council of Traditional Rulers convened at Jaja Guest House in Olere. Due to morning rain, the meeting started at 2 p.m., 3 hours later than scheduled. Under Edoja's supervision, 20 kings vied to become kingmakers. Elections were conducted in pairs, and 10 individuals were ultimately chosen. Another round of voting among the 10 selected, King Eloho Udo of Aviara as the spokesman. His strong public speaking abilities made him a popular choice. Of the remaining 9 kingmakers, Kings Adube, Obaro, Idodo, Akura and Ime received votes, while Kings John, Ato, Jonah and Blessing received none. After this, the council debated where the capital of the unified Isoko kingdom should be. 3 towns, Ole, Ozoro and Uzere, were proposed. Through a show of hands, Ole was selected. The next meeting was scheduled for that Friday. By noon, most kings had arrived. The atmosphere was lively as they exchanged greetings. The kingmakers, now fully in charge, were tasked with handling the rest of the head kingship selection process. All kings except the 10 kingmakers expressed interest in the position and purchased nomination forms at 100,000 each. Due to limited supply, not all received their forms immediately. Some were to collect theirs the following day. A technical challenge now emerged. With nearly every king being a candidate, how could the voting be fair? The kingmakers had exclusive voting rights, and the legitimacy of the outcome would rest entirely on their discretion. Once all forms were filled and submitted, the meeting was adjourned to the following Monday. On Monday, the large pool of candidates was narrowed down to 5. The process involved dividing the contestants into 5 groups, from which 1 candidate was chosen per group. Using an open ballot system, each contestant voted for other groups to determine a winner from each. The 5 selected finalists were King Edoja of Uzere, Group 1, King Iwiri of Ozoro, Group 2, King Avok of Olomoro, Group 3, King Ede of Emavor, Group 4, King Igogo of Oto Owe, Group 5. These 5 were the last remaining contenders for the title of head king. With the final phase approaching, political tensions and ambitions continued to rise, and the long-awaited decision drew near.